Hello everyone, Meta527ii here, and I am bringing you another commentary. Wait, do people even still do those kinds of commentary intros? Anyways, man, I've been looking for some full-length material for a while, and at last I came across one. This is a list of top 10 worst Gen 7 Pokemon by SilokHawk. While I do believe this guy does have potential to be a good countdown maker, and I'm not going to judge him by this one list, I just found some things that I need to talk about. Nothing else to say, so let's get on with the show.
Top 10 worst Gen 7 Pokemon. Wow, nice clickbait, SilokHawk.
I know what's wrong with it, but I'm leaving it in.
You clicked on the video, didn't you?
How could this happen to me? I made my mistake.
I personally don't mind you using an overused sound clip like that, but even though I don't get tired of it, you should be careful about it, since this is something that other people will get on your case for doing, since a lot of people have used that song.
So while this may seem needless to most people, I do feel obligated to say this list is based on my opinions. I mean, no shit, right?
Trust
it
me.
is a top
We're gonna
10,
get back to that
and
statement.
it's alright if you disagree with me. And beyond that, I do want to iterate, these entries are based on designs and designs only. So if I end up putting something on this list as a super dark Pokédex entry or whatever the heck, note that I'm only focusing on the appearances of these guys. Because, you know, I'm super shallow or whatever.
And that's where this list begins to fall flat on its face. You're saying these Pokemon are the worst because of designs alone. That's why you should change the title to Top 10 Worst Designed Pokemon.
Silok,
Yeah?
are you sure you aren't just making this video to piss people off? Are you sure?
No, I seriously just thought this would be a fun video to make.
Yeah, well then how do you explain that?
Look, I can explain.
Ties are something that are looked down upon by many members of the Countdown community nowadays. I don't really have a problem with ties myself, but when it's a tie between 9 different Pokemon, that's insane.
First off, we got Rowlet. And yeah, sorry to trigger the Litten and Popplio fanboys, but I do like Rowlet's first form the most. Hashtag Team Rowlet. My only problem is, despite thinking the design looks solid enough, does this look like a starter to you? It certainly doesn't to me. It looks like one of the field birds you find early on in the games. So yeah, like the design, doesn't really look like a starter though.
As much as I hate to quote Ryan Rhino Mills considering how I don't really like him, how is not looking like a starter really all that bad? Also, you're kind of vague on how it doesn't look like a starter. You're just like, oh, it looks like Hoot Hoot, and that's about it.
Popplio. Oh boy, you were just doomed from the start, weren't you?
I guess, it's your opinion. Just don't try saying that around Fawn. She'll eat you alive.
In fact, the game literally states that he, quote-unquote, is going through a phase.
Really? You're going to have a long subtitle on the screen for a split second? Do you realize what you're doing? You're making your audience have to work during this video by having to keep rewinding and pausing on the right clip. This is a common problem with a lot of videos. Look, I know I have brief subtitles sometimes, but at least I make sure to make them last longer than that.
Also, can I just point out that this thing only has a little more than a 1 out of 10 chance of being a female? Yeah, Miss Popstar over here, most likely a dude.
While I agree with you that this is a problem with Bryony, nearly all starter Pokemon have an 87.5 to 12.5 ratio of being male and female. This would have been a better point if you were to say, this is why the whole starter ratio doesn't work for Popplio, or something like that.
Also, it's not even a fighting type. If you're gonna turn a cat into a WWE wrestler, at least give it a typing that makes sense.
So you'd rather have it the same type combination that nearly half the fire starters get? Well, okay then. I'll admit, it was stupid of Game Freak to turn it into a wrestler for no apparent reason, considering how nothing in Litten foreshadows it becoming a wrestler, at least not to my knowledge. But the reason it's a dark type is because it's supposedly a heel wrestler, which fights in crude ways, so that's why it has that typing.
Hey, stop being sexist. Mermaids can be guys too. No, they can't. Otherwise, they're just called mermen. Mermaid is a portmanteau of the words mer and may. May being a word that refers to female sex. Silok, nobody cares. Then just stop. It's always something with you.
Silok, I know you're trying to be funny, but this drags on for way too long. Seriously, you spent about 24 seconds on that Kermit footage, or should I say Constantine footage because of his shorter collar. Now bear with me. This isn't the only time he has one of those clips go on for too long, but I cut most of them out because I don't want to repeat myself.
I still have yet to meet a single person that loves all 3 starters, including their evolutions. That being said, let's get this damn show on the road. I can't believe I just spent all this time on number 10.
Translation: I know I did a big no-no on countdowns, but I don't care. Maybe that's why I shouldn't have had a 9-way tie. Wouldn't it be much better to have just one of them and say, I think most of the starters have lacking designs, but this one takes the cake. You even said not all of them are bad, so that shoots you in the foot even more.
Oh man, what am I doing? Moving from the starters straight to the legendaries. I am basically asking to be crucified at this point. Straight to the point, I think Sigaleo is pretty alright, but Lunala's design is kind of a mess.
If you're going to say that Solgaleo's design is not that bad on a list based of looks alone, then you should put Lunala's design on the list and call it a day. Don't tie them both at the spot if you think Solgaleo's design is better than Lunala's. I know they were both disappointing to you, but like with the starter entry, just say Lunala did the job worse than Solgaleo. And if you think they're equally bad, then saying Solgaleo's alright and Lunala's is kind of a mess proves that you need better wording skills. Oh no. Please don't make a Trump joke. Please don't make a Trump joke. Please don't make a Trump joke!
Also, he evolves into Donald Trump.
That's it! Don't ever remind me of that life ruiner ever again! Okay, in all seriousness, that joke has been milked to death ever since this Pokemon was first revealed. Especially since a lot of people who have been in the Pokemon Sun and Moon community since the trailer would predict that joke ever since you first revealed what that entry was. Every Trump joke people could have made with gumshoes has already been made, countless times.
And if the design wasn't enough, the thing is also a dragon type. Why? Its type alone made it a meme.
I can understand the whole "it's typing alone made it a meme" point, but to answer your question as to why it's a dragon type, I did some research and it's basically based off the Dracania tree, which contains over 100 types of trees in Hawaii and are called dragon trees. There's your explanation.
I think the best part about Alola Dugtrio, well, besides the memes, are the Pokedex entries. And no, Kermit, before you say anything, these didn't factor into the votes, I just thought they were funny.
I'm sorry, what?
These didn't factor into the votes, I just thought they were funny.
Did you just say votes? Are you saying this whole list is based off some kind of contest that you held and asked people to vote on this? But you just said earlier...
So while this may seem needless to most people, I do feel obligated to say this list is based on my opinions. I mean, no shit, right? It is a top 10 after all.
So what is it? Is this your personal opinion? What do people vote on it? The description doesn't explain this, the title doesn't explain this, so what am I supposed to think? Your wording of this confuses me to no end.
The entry in Sun says, its shining gold hair provides it with protection. Yeah, those crazy mad defense skills, all in the hair, baby.
While I do agree it's a very lazy design choice, I have an answer to your question of how the hair protects it. It's based on something called Pale's hair. It's supposedly formed from the stretching of basaltic grass from lava. It's not recommended to touch because it's supposedly very sharp. That's where I think they were going with this.
Because at the end of the day, it doesn't change the fact it's a f***ing sandcastle. He's got a plastic shovel stuck to his face. That's like
wow, funny looking face.
Design.
Almost looks like the top of the
I
head.
need to calm down. Admittedly, I don't think Bruxish is my personal worst Gen 7, but I had to put it on number 1 because I don't think anyone likes this thing.
This is based off your personal opinion, and yet you put Bruxish, something you don't think is the worst, as your number 1 because you don't think anyone likes it. You have strange priorities when it comes to this video, do you? And that's all I have to say here. Final thoughts? This was not very good. I've seen much worse Pokemon videos, and some of the Kermit moments were pretty cute. One, they weren't dragging on for too long. And I do believe you have potential to make good lists, but this entire list should have been called Top 10 Worst Designed Gen 7 Pokemon. You worded some things really poorly, and once again, you don't know what you're talking about because even though you proclaim this is an opinion list, you seem to base it off the opinions of others at times. I hope this was a good commentary. Hope you all enjoyed it. If you're watching, please do not go to SilokHawk's channel and attack him, because this is only meant to point out the errors in his video. And I am Meta527ii, signing out.